Welcome to a very special episode of the Heads Together podcast. I'm your host, Jill Mokes. Thank you for being here with me. On the 9th of October, there is a very special project taking place. It's called Coachathon 2024. It's organised by the Microloan Foundation, who do the most incredible work in terms of providing help to women in Malawi, Zambia and Zimbabwe, women who are living in extreme poverty. They help by providing microloans for them to start a business and elevate themselves or begin to elevate themselves out of that extreme poverty. This is a cause that is so close to my heart because I believe that as women, we can do something via microloan that is completely and directly impactful to women who haven't had the opportunities that we've had as business owners. Coachathon 2024 is on the 9th of October. It's a day where hundreds of coaches donate their time. And I'm talking all different coaches, health coaches, life coaches, business coaches, leadership coaches, relationship coaches, all different kinds of coaching is available. And in return for a donation of just £50, you can actually have a 45-minute session with a very experienced, impactful coach who is going to make a difference in your life or your business. And you get to play a part in supporting the work that the Microloan Foundation does. This is just an incredible event. It's a masterful piece of organisation to get this to happen. And I think it's a real testament to the Microloan Foundation that they pull this off. I think this is the 5th year of the Coachathon. And it really is an amazing event that I would just love for you to support. So if there's any kind of coaching that you feel drawn to try, maybe you want to try a different kind of coaching than you've experienced before, this would be a perfect time to try that. So I wanted to just do this episode of the podcast, and I want you to meet Cassandra. So Cassandra is heading up the project for Microloan, and she's going to come on in a moment and just tell us a little bit about the background and exactly how it all works and why the Coachathon. And then I want you to meet Michelle, and Michelle is a fellow coach, and she is one of the many coaches who are going to take part in the Coachathon on the 9th. She's a coach that you could book time with. She's phenomenal. She's absolutely amazing. And she's coming on also just to tell us a little bit about why she wants to be involved in this incredible project. So go to the show notes. You're going to find all of the links that you need to be able to take part in donating to the Coachathon. So if you go to coachathon.microloanfoundation.org.uk, you can absolutely click on the time zone that fits you best and you can book your session. Okay, let's dive in. And I'm so happy for you to meet Cassandra. Let's go. Welcome to the Heads Together podcast. I'm Jill Mokes, and I am obsessed with cutting through the noise when it comes to growing your business. Each week, via intimate coaching conversations and inspirational stories, I share what it really takes to get the results you want in a way that feels right to you. I am all about attracting higher ticket opportunities, building authentic relationships, and creating the abundant, full-fat version of your dream business. I mean, how many of us have beavered away creating a light version of what we really want? The thing is, I honestly believe when you're outstanding at what you do, there is no limit to what you can achieve. So, are you ready to put our heads together and make it happen? Let's go. So our first conversation today for this special bonus episode is with Cassandra Pilosoff, who is joining me from the Microloan Foundation. Cassandra, welcome to Heads Together.
Hi, Joel. Thanks so much for having me.
Oh my goodness. Thank you for being here. I was really happy to have you on because obviously we want to really spread the word about Coachathon and have people understand what it is and what's in it for them as coaches and what's in it for you as someone who might be looking for coaching. But before we go into that, I would love to understand a bit more. I know this is really a project that you are absolutely leading on in Microloan and heading up. And I'd love to understand a bit about how did this come about?
It's actually a lovely story how the Coachathon came about. We had an incredible woman who was part of our Women's Development Board, which is an external voluntary fundraising committee. The woman's name was Sandra Pennington, and she is a coach herself. She was really tasked with, when she joined the Women's Development Board, how can we bring in funds for Microloan Foundation? And she was thinking about this for some time. And apparently in the middle of the night, she kind of woke up with a brilliant idea where she said, let's do the Coachathon. It's going to be a win-win-win, a win for coaches who want to give their services in support of something so impactful, a win for clients who want to access really great coaching at a reduced rate, and a win for Microloan Foundation, of course, because it's going to bring funding in. So Sarah really conceptualized the Coachathon, and she worked closely with Microloan Foundation in 2019. And in shockingly 6 weeks, they set up this huge international event with a lot of coaches from around the world.
Wow, 6 weeks.
In 6 weeks, it's insane. We now have a much longer lead time, thank goodness, because 6 weeks, I don't know how they did it.
No, but it just shows you what can be done, doesn't it? When you put your mind to pulling something off, it just shows you what can be done.
Definitely. I mean, in that first year, they raised £13,000.
Goodness. And when you think about that, because I know that all the proceeds from the Coachathon go to the Microloan Foundation, right?
Mm.
So the coaches give of their time for free. People who want coaching pay a nominal amount for a coaching session with which is amazing. It's a way of accessing coaching for a fraction of what it would cost normally. So like you say, it really is a win-win-win. And all of the money raised goes to Microloan. Yeah. So when we think about the context of that amount of money raised against the concept of how little actually the amounts of money are for us in terms of the money loaned to the women in Zimbabwe, Zambia and Malawi, where Microloan is active, that represents a lot of women served, right?
It does. It does. You talk about those nominal amounts. To give your listeners an idea of what that is, our startup loans for women to start a business is £25. For a woman to have a continued loan to support her business, ongoing training for a year, ongoing support and mentorship for a full year, that's £125 per woman. So the amount of money we're raising through the Coachathon is a significant impact.
It really is. Cassandra, I feel just like that makes it so real for people as well, because for the coaches taking part and for the people who are investing in the coaching, just to put it in perspective, the sessions cost around £50. That represents 2 startup loans for 2 women. That's amazing, right? It's so impactful. I mean, what a brilliant idea that woman had doing this. What a brilliant way of bringing in money. I love it. I love it. So we've touched there on, how directly impactful this is for the women that Microloan Foundation helps. Can you tell us a bit more about that? What kind of women are served, if you like, by Microloan?
Yes, so we exclusively work with women living in Malawi, Zambia, and Zimbabwe, as you mentioned. And these are women who are living in extreme poverty. What extreme poverty means, by our definition, is they're living on less than £2.50 a day. These are in countries where access to healthcare, access to education, access to food, to clothing, that all comes from that £2.50 a day. So, as you can imagine, these are women who have to make really difficult decisions on a daily basis in terms of, what am I spending that money on today? Is it food? Is it education? Is it clothing? These are really tough decisions that they have to be making. And that's one of the reasons why the training component of what we do is so important, because I think most people can put themselves in that position where if you're given £25, it's a really hard thing not to take that money and spend it on food for your children. But with the training, with the support, we can invest that in a business, and the impact is going to be so significant, so that women day after day, once they get their small businesses off the ground, they're able to support their families. And what we actually see is there's no easy routes out of poverty. So that startup loan, it's not a once-off. Women kind of come back there. We work with them year after year. We do provide continued loans, continued training, continued support, and we see their businesses grow. And we see a lot of women start multiple businesses. They, on average, support 4 children. Most women will go on to employ other women in communities, so creating job opportunities. It's just incredible to see, these are hard conditions and hard countries that the women are in. For example, this year we're seeing some of the worst droughts and famine in the region that we've seen in a very, very long time. But with the training, with the support, we're building in resilience, and a lot of these businesses are surviving.
I mean, it is absolutely incredible work. It's amazing. I urge you, if you're listening to this, go to the Microloan Foundation website, because on the website, there are some great videos. There's stories on there that, will absolutely reinforce what Cassandra's sharing with us here, that this makes a difference. This way that Microloan Foundation will loan these small amounts of money. And like you said, these women, they come back again, they get bigger loans. You can witness this progression, which is just phenomenal when you think about the poverty they're in when they begin their microloan journey, I guess. And you're right that I get it. There's no easy way out of poverty, but that's not a reason for us to not try to help. And I think with what you're doing with the Coachathon, it is such an accessible, easy way for us to get involved and to help. That's what I think is so genius about it. It is that 3-way win, and I know that you've got some amazing coaches that are taking part in the Coachathon this year. Is it getting bigger and bigger, the Coachathon?
Oh, yes, it is.
Yeah.
And I think in part, one of the reasons why, 2 reasons why it's getting bigger, really. The first is coaches love coming back. It's a really fun, positive experience for them. They come back. People that have received coaching, they come back year after year. And we've got coaches that cover all regions in the world, all areas in the world. So no matter where anyone is based, we have coaches that are appropriate and for that area and can provide coaching in all our coaching streams. So that's one of the reasons this year, we're working with over 200 coaches. So just to give you an idea of how many coaches we're working with. Another reason why we're seeing a growth is because last year we started partnering with the UK chapter of the ICF, and they've really helped spread the word of the Coachathon, lending their voice, kind of lending their support. That's really helped us so much.
Oh, absolutely. So for those people listening who would love to get involved to support this and who could benefit from coaching, what kind of coaching could they expect to explore with Coachathon?
So we have 3 main types of coaching. So that is leadership coaching. And then within leadership coaching, we've got executive coaching, business coaching, people leaders. The second type of coaching we have is career coaching. And within career coaching, we have career development, career transition, career confidence, and then public speaking, specifically within your career. And then we have lifestyle coaching. And lifestyle coaching, the type of coaching we have in that category is resilience, mindfulness, confidence again, but a different type of confidence here, and health and wellness.
So really, that is a very wide selection of different types of coaching that if you're listening to this, right, you only have to invest 50 quid and you can experience some top level coaching. These are all experienced coaches. They're accredited coaches. They've got at least 2 years experience of coaching. This isn't a playground of coaches. This is serious, high level coaching in all of those areas. Straight away, I'm thinking, in terms of my listeners, there are so many people listening who the thought of having some public speaking coaching for £50 investment, like, what? That's amazing. If you're listening, I urge you, check this out. I'm taking part in it. If coaching with me is something you'd like a taste of, go for it. I'm going to put my link in the show notes of this episode. You're going to be hearing, coming up in a second, conversations with a couple of other coaches who are taking part in this. So you're going to get a flavor of what's available here with this. And just knowing that your investment in your coaching is going to be contributing to the incredible work that the Microloan Foundation does. And Cassandra, you just said it, there are some of the most challenging droughts and famine at the moment that you've seen in those areas that Microloan supports. And that's real. You spoke earlier as well about the decisions that these women are forced to have to make when it comes to where they spend the meager amount of money that they have available to spend. I don't think we are ever going to have to experience, thank God, having to make decisions like that. I just really don't. And I think it's hard to even picture what that must be like. But this work is so important that Microloan's doing, and the Coachathon is such an impactful way of getting involved. So if you're listening to this now, please, I urge you, do something, take action, and benefit as well for yourself from the coaching. Why not? What a win-win that is. Cassandra, thank you for coming on and just giving us a bit of background, really, to Microloan, but also to this project, which is just amazing. And thank you, Microloan, for doing this incredible work.
Thank you so much, Joel. And we're actually really excited to have you coaching this year.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really looking forward to it. So just a reminder that the day that all of this coaching will be happening, this 24-hour Coachathon, is the 9th of October, 2024. And that is the goal date where all of the coaching will get done. We're all human. There may be some exceptions that fall outside of that date, but the goal is that everyone comes together and is providing this incredible spectrum of coaching on that one day. And let's see how much money you can make this year. Let's see if we can make it a record-breaking year, I think.
Yes. Our target this year is 30,000. So that would be an amazing achievement.
Right. 30,000. Come on. We need as many people as we can to get involved with this, don't we, right?
Yes.
Cassandra, thank you so much. Hey, so we are now heading into the part of this episode where I'm so pleased to introduce you to one of the coaches who is generously giving of her time and expertise in aid of Coachathon. Michelle, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you, Jill. It's lovely to be here.
Oh, it's good to have you. I think it's really important that as well as spreading the awareness of Microloan and Coachathon, we want to really get people to understand exactly what is being offered here. Cassandra and I were saying earlier that this really is a genuine win-win-win because the charity benefits from the coaching sessions that are being paid for at a very reduced rate. The coaches win because you're getting to find new people to come into your world and start coaching with other potential clients as well for the future. And the clients win because they're getting incredible coaching for 50 quid. I mean, it's bloody amazing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so thank you for taking part and for, like I say, generously giving your time. Can you just tell everyone a little bit about what kind of coaching it is that you're offering?
Yes, so I have trained in both transformational coaching and then followed that on with health coaching. So I'm offering people the chance to have sessions with myself to go through whatever their goals are in terms of improving their health, looking at any challenges that may be having in terms of looking after their health, and then working with them to go forward with a plan as to what little changes they can make to improve their health. And I think it's also important to remember it's not just physical health, but, obviously our mental health, our emotional health also has a major impact on our physical health. You can't look after one without looking after the other.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. So, as part of Coachathon, how long are the actual sessions?
So I think each coach has been able to set the sessions as they sort of usually work. So I would say probably between 45 minutes to an hour, sometimes up to 90 minutes. So I think it depends on what your coachee, what your client needs, and assessing that with them.
Yeah. I mean, really, that is amazing because actually there's a lot you could get done in that amount of time, isn't there, with a client, even when it's their first session?
Oh, definitely. I mean, and sometimes I've had people in the past where they've only needed one session because it's opened up their thinking or it's helped them to get over a barrier so that they've just been able to go forward with the plan just from that introductory session. So yes, I mean, obviously, ideally, I would say that you're probably going to be looking at 4 to 6 sessions, but that's the beauty of the Coachathon in that anybody can get a taste as to what coaching is, because I think sometimes that's the barrier that people don't really know what coaching is, how it may be beneficial for them, how it can support them. Because you can have coaching in so many different ways. It's not just health. It can be financial situation. It can be business. It can be careers. I mean, there's just so many areas of our lives that we could benefit from coaching in. And you've now got this way of being able to get a taster of coaching at such a reduced rate. Absolutely.
It is. It's such a phenomenal idea. Michelle, I have to ask you, health coaching is such an interesting, I think, aspect. And you just mentioned about how you combine the physical element and the mindset element. What got you into that kind of specialism of coaching?
Well, my background is that I'm actually a clinician. I've been a GP for many, many years. As I was going through my career, one of the things that I noticed was that we are managing patients with long-term conditions, mental health conditions, which you can't do in a 10-minute appointment. This is looking obviously mainly at, I work in England. And so, for example, I used to be a lead in diabetes, and I would have a patient come in and say, you've got your blood test. This shows that you're diabetic. This is what diabetes means. And then they go away and see the nurse for the rest of the management. But there was nowhere in that plan or in that program of management that we sort of set back and sort of said, well, what's actually going on in your life? Why might you find it difficult to prepare a meal in the evening, or to set aside some time for exercise, or to do the changes that you might need to do? Or what do you think about the diagnosis? Or how can we help you to manage your diagnosis better? You can't do that in a 10-minute appointment. And that's what attracted me to health coaching, in that it gives the coaching space, gives anybody 45 minutes to an hour to just have that time to talk to somebody who's going to listen and just not be judgmental. It's going to be safe, it's confidential, and you can talk about the problems. The answers are all within us, but sometimes it just needs that time and that space and that support from a coach to help find the answers and to start to improve the life and live the life that you want to. So that's what's attracted me to coaching. It's just amazing space. It really is.
I think that's so interesting because I can really see how that limited amount of time as a GP that you have. And I get that. I mean, obviously it has to be reasonably limited, but I can see how that would feel quite frustrating when you have this drive to really help people and go a bit deeper into their problems. So yeah, I can see that makes complete sense. Is this the first year that you've got involved with the Coachathon?
It is, yes. I've just recently, finished my health coaching. So I've been practicing the coaching with transformational coaching and the health coaching for a couple of years or so now. So this was the first opportunity I'd had to get involved with the Coachathon, but it's just such a worthwhile cause that I'm assisting with. As I said, I love the idea of anybody being able to get a taste as to what coaching can offer them, and then be able to meet a coach locally. And that's the beauty now, I think, post the pandemic, of the world opening up with the use of online access, so that you can, you could be in UK and coaching somebody in the States, for example. That facility and that benefit and that support is out there, and it's just trying to expand it so that people can see that it's out there and use it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You know what? Most of my clients are actually in the States.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And about half of the listeners to this podcast are in the States as well. So you're right. It's so different now. And with coaching, I think that's a great thing, because I always think it's a bit like dating. The perfect coach for everyone is out there. Yeah. So the use of virtual technology just means that we have access to so much more, so many more people to help. Yeah.
Absolutely. And the world of coaching is changing. So yes, there's just so many different types of coaches, so many different types of psychological theories behind coaching that, as you say, the perfect coach for you is out there. It's just finding them. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. As a business coach, I always think, that's really your job as a business owner. Your job is to make sure that the right people can find you. That's really your number one job, because it's so true, isn't it, that there is the right coach for everyone, but sometimes they're not going to know about you until you really get out there. And that's where I think the Coachathon is such a win for coaches as well, because it's actually, who doesn't want to do something like this that makes you feel good? But even, that aside, it's actually raising coaches' profiles too. And that's brilliant. I love that kind of win-win.
Yes, absolutely. It is a win-win. Absolutely.
Yeah. In terms of Microloan Foundation, what is it about that charity that has really drawn you to take part in this?
Well, I think I've seen the adverts previously locally on our television, and I think it's just such a simple concept, but can do so much good for women in Africa. So, obviously there's lots of charities out there, and I think it is about trying to help some of the smaller charities to improve their profiles. But also, it was just such a great concept to have, as you say, you've got coaches who can raise their profiles, raise the profile of coaching generally, and alongside that, we're helping to support an amazing charity with all the brilliant work that they're doing as well. So yes, that's what's attracted me. Yes.
Yeah. And do you know what? I think you're so right that you just used the right word. The simple concept, because it could not be a simpler concept, could it? And it applies to, I think, the foundation itself in terms of granting these microloans to women to help them start a business, to begin that journey out of the severe poverty. We're talking about women living in crisis level poverty.
Absolutely.
The simple concept of just making these micro loans and then also providing the training to help them make the best use of that money. It's such a simple concept, but the delivery of it is difficult and it's challenging, and Microloan is incredible the way they manage all of that. And then the simplicity also of the concept of the Coachathon. The woman who came up with that, I would love you to reach out to her, because what a bloody simple, brilliant idea.
Amazing, isn't it? Absolutely. You think, how come somebody never thought of it before? But in a way, you're glad, because it means that they've got it.
Yeah, because they've got it. Absolutely. Yeah, I agree with you. It's like, how are more people not doing this? But yeah, I'm glad. Because I want Microloan to be the beneficiaries of this amazing idea.
Exactly.
Thank goodness.
Yes. And as you said, it's as well as giving the loans to the ladies and empowering them, the knock-on effects that has to their children and their families and the community, a wider community for them as well. It's just a simple idea, but so impressive. Yes.
So impressive. And yeah, it's real impact. It's real impact. And I think that's probably what really attracted me to do some work with Microloan in the first place, was there are a lot of charities out there where rightly or wrongly, we can't see where that money is going that we donate.
That's so true. Yeah.
And I think Microloan is just the opposite. So when I think about what we're doing with Coachathon, for every £50 someone spends, that's potentially 2 startup loans for 2 women. in Malawi, Zambia or Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal, isn't it?
Yeah. How amazing is that? Yeah. So as you said again, so from coachees' point of view, not only are they going to be coached by some excellent, great coaches and have that experience, they're also helping the communities in, as you say, Malawi, Zimbabwe. I mean, as you say, that's a win-win, isn't it? That's an amazing way to spend the money, and you're also getting something beneficial from it. It's not, as you say, just the money going into a large charity pot and you're not quite sure where that money is going. Yeah.
That's right. It feels impactful. It feels like you're actually able to make a difference if you take part in this.
Exactly. That's key. That's lovely. Yes.
Oh, Michelle, thank you for coming on. It's really important to me to just hear from some coaches who are taking part in this. What are you most looking forward to about the day, like the 9th of October?
Oh, so excited. There's an introductory section, a welcome session in the morning. As I said, being able to work with my coachees on the day, being part of this amazing community, and how that might help me and help go forward. But even, it's just putting that small amount of work, and at the end of the day, it's one day or so for me. But, that, as you say, that £25 for the lady in Malawi could just be life-changing. And to be involved with that is just, what more can I say? What can I say, really? It's a small effort for that, really. Yeah.
Yeah, a small effort for a huge impact.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much. So for everyone listening, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a link to Michelle's sign up, because if Michelle sounds like the exact kind of coach you would like to work with as part of Coachathon, then I would act quite quickly, because I have a feeling she's going to get booked up. So absolutely make sure that you get in there. I'll put a little bit about Michelle as well in the show notes. So be sure to go and check that out. Like I said, there'll be a link. And I really urge you, if you're listening, I'm not going to apologize for saying this too often. Please get involved with this. The women are living in absolute abject poverty, the level at which we probably, hopefully, will never know. And, this is a way that you can directly help and make a difference. Michelle, thank you for coming on.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Appreciate it. So that was so good to hear from Michelle and her background and her reason for getting involved with Coachathon. This is such an amazing project. And I want to personally thank Microloan Foundation for really doing something different here, something that's so tangible, something that creates this win-win-win for everyone. I mean, you know what? On the 9th of October, hundreds of professional coaches will be donating their time, offering these coaching sessions in return for just a £50 donation. It really is an opportunity to make a difference here. So if you head to the Microloan Foundation site, so actually if you go to coachathon.microloanfoundation.org.uk, you will see 3 buttons in the middle that say get started. So whatever time zone suits you best, click there, and that's going to take you to a place where you can book your coaching session. £50. And remember, there's all different types of coaches there. You're going to be able to find exactly what kind of coach is going to benefit you best. Now, I'm also going to put a couple of personal links in the show notes. One will go to where you can book a session with me on the 9th of October, and another one where you can book a session with Michelle, again on the 9th of October. But also, if you want to explore the different kinds of coaching, go to the site, and we're going to put all of the links you need in the show notes. I would really urge you to do this. The women who are in extreme poverty in Malawi, Zambia, and Zimbabwe will be directly helped by the donation that you make in return for this coaching. This is a very, very simple, impactful way to make a difference. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this insight into the Coachathon 2024 project, and I will be back in your ears very soon. Thanks for listening. Bye for now. I hope you enjoyed this episode and that getting our heads together this week has filled your mind with what's possible. If you love the show, would you do me a massive favour, please? Would you leave a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts? It would really help me put more heads together, reach more ears and expand more minds. Until next week, bye for now.